While visiting my grandmother, I found this wooden club-shaped object in the attic. It has evenly spaced holes, a central hole, and a flared end. Any idea what it is or what it was used for? What you found is a vintage wooden beehive yarn bobbin, a type of industrial thread spool used in textile mills during the early to mid-20th century. These bobbins were commonly produced by companies like the Cranston Print Works, and later the Butterwick Company. The name beehive comes from the flared end with carved grooves, which resemble the shape of a traditional skep-style beehive. The grooves helped secure the yarn in place during spinning or winding. The evenly spaced holes in central bore allowed the bobbin to be mounted on machines for smooth rotation. Originally patented in 1912, this style was praised for its self-locking design that prevented yarn from slipping or tangling. I found this axe head-shaped piece with "True Temper" stamped on it. One side is sharpened, and the back has 3 holes. It weighs about 1 pound and is roughly the size of a normal axe head. What is it for? What you found is a variant of a brush axe head, likely produced by True Temper. Brush axes were designed for clearing dense undergrowth, saplings, and small branches, especially in forestry, trail maintenance, and agricultural work. This particular style is similar to Swedish brush axes and was designed to be mounted to a long handle or shaft, using the 3 holes at the back. The looped section helped reinforce the connection and stabilize the head during repeated heavy swings. Unlike a typical axe, the broad, slightly curved blade of a brush axe is better suited for slicing through vegetation than for splitting wood. True Temper was a well-known manufacturer of forestry and agricultural tools throughout the 20th century, and this head reflects that utility-focused design. Sorting through some drawers, I found this round metal object. It's about 1.5 inches in diameter, fairly heavy, and has the same design on both sides. Any idea what it is? What you found is the pendulum disc from an antique mantel clock, likely from the early 1900s. These were commonly used in American-made clocks, including those produced by the Ingram Clock Company. The design is decorative and was stamped into both sides of the disc to give the pendulum a finished, symmetrical appearance. This disc would have been attached to a rod and used to regulate the clock's movement, swinging back and forth behind a glass door. While simple in function, pendulum discs like this added both visual balance and charm to traditional mechanical clocks. Found this today while going through some old things. Any idea what it is? What you found is a Victorian or Edwardian era nail cleaner, a personal grooming tool used to clean under the fingernails or push back cuticles. The curved metal tip was designed to reach beneath the nail, while the decorative handle typically matched other pieces in a vanity set. This particular example appears to have a silver handle, which may be tarnished but could reveal hallmarks or ornate detailing once polished. Tools like this were part of everyday grooming in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, especially among those who owned elaborate personal care sets. Bought this at an auction. It's a long glass tube in a fitted wooden case with a 2-way scale from 0 to 18. Any idea what it is? What you've bought is an antique U-tube glass manometer, a precision instrument used to measure pressure differences. It works on the principle of hydrostatic balance. When a pressure difference is applied across the 2 ends of the U-shaped tube, the liquid inside shifts, and the difference in height between the columns indicates the pressure difference. The dual scale allows measurements in both directions, and the markings are typically in inches or centimeters of fluid. These instruments were commonly used in laboratories, early industrial environments, and HVAC systems to calibrate equipment or monitor airflow and gas pressure. The fitted wooden case suggests it was a professional-grade tool, likely used in scientific or technical work in the early to mid-20th century. I found this small metal cylinder embedded in the ground along a walking and bike trail in Illinois. It's marked ILS 2006-2207 and seems firmly set in place. What is it? What you found is a land survey marker, also known as a survey monument. These markers are placed by licensed surveyors to establish fixed reference points for property boundaries, elevation data, or geodetic coordinates. The inscription ILS most likely stands for Illinois Land Survey and the numbers likely refer to the surveyor's license number or a project designation. Markers like this are part of the Public Land Survey System, a grid-based framework used in many U.S. states to divide land into townships and sections for legal and administrative purposes. While it may seem inconveniently located, survey markers are intended to remain undisturbed, as they serve as official reference points for future measurements and property definitions. Metal stabby thing with adjustable stab depth? Wooden handle. Any ideas what this is and what it is for? What you found is a manual tufting tool used in rug making. This handheld device is designed to punch yarn through fabric or canvas to create loops or piles, forming the surface texture of a rug or carpet. The pointed metal tip pierces the backing fabric, while the adjustable mechanism controls the depth of the stitch. Yarn is typically threaded through the tool, and with each motion, a loop is embedded into the textile, which can later be trimmed to create different pile heights or left intact for a looped texture. Though modern tufting guns are powered and faster, manual tools like this are still used for detailed work, or traditional methods in hand-tufted rug production. I found this bronze-looking statue near a beach on the East Coast over 12 years ago. It weighs about 1.5 pounds. Any idea what it is? What you found appears to be a decorative figurine modeled after the famous dancing faun statue from the House of the Faun in Pompeii. The original Roman bronze, discovered in 1830, depicts a faun, or more precisely, a satyr, in a lively dancing pose, and it became one of the most iconic works of art uncovered at Pompeii. Fauns, or satyrs in Greek mythology, are woodland creatures typically shown as half-human, half-goat, and associated with music, wine, and revelry. They were followers of Dionysus, the god of wine and ecstasy. This pose, with raised limbs and animated movement, is typical of Roman copies of Hellenistic art. The figurine you found is most likely a 20th century souvenir or reproduction, possibly cast in bronze or bronze-coated material and sold in museum shops or as a decorative piece. I found this small bronze object. It's quite heavy and appears to have a carved stamp on the bottom. Any idea what it is? What you found is a traditional Chinese seal, also known as a chop. These seals have been used across East Asian cultures as a form of signature or personal identification. Instead of writing their name by hand, individuals or officials would press an inked seal onto documents, artwork, or contracts to authenticate them. The stamp usually features a person's name, a studio title, or a symbolic phrase, and it's carved in reverse so the impression reads correctly when stamped. The design on top, commonly shaped like a turtle or other animal, is decorative and can reflect the owner's status or personal taste. Seals like this are typically made from stone, bronze, or other durable materials, and have been used in China for over 2,000 years. Yours appears to be cast in bronze, and may have once belonged to a scholar, calligrapher, or collector. Can someone help identify this coin? Both images show the front and back of the same piece. It's small, silver, and heavily worn. Any idea where it's from or how old it might be? What you found appears to be an early medieval silver jatail, a type of coin first issued by the Kabul Shahis around the 8th century CE. The jatal was widely used across regions that are now Afghanistan, Pakistan, and northern India, and it remained in circulation under various dynasties for several centuries. The design on your coin likely follows the bull and horseman pattern, one of the most iconic motifs in early Indian numismatics. One side typically depicts a humped bull, symbolizing strength and fertility, while the other shows a mounted warrior or ruler. Coins like this were valued for their reliable silver content and played a key role in expanding trade and the use of money across the Indian subcontinent. While your coin is worn, the form and imagery are consistent with jatals minted between the 10th and 13th centuries, possibly during the Ghaznavid or Delhi Sultanate periods. Dear viewers, if you enjoy our videos, please subscribe to the channel and give this one a thumbs up. It influences the YouTube algorithm and the video gets promoted more effectively. Thank you. Stamped metal disc weighs about 200 grams. Found it in a box of random metal bits. Any idea what it is? What you found is a stamped lead ingot, likely made by United American Metals for Remington Rand, a company based in Buffalo, New York. The inscription appears to read, "From Rem Rand Buffalo," and the central image shows a Native American profile, a design commonly used in mid-20th century American industrial branding. This object may have been cast for use in manufacturing, possibly as a counterweight or as raw material for products like typewriters or business machines. Alternatively, it may have served as a promotional paperweight, produced in bulk for clients or employees. While modest in appearance, items like this reflect the industrial heritage of companies like Remington Rand and were often made with a practical or commemorative purpose in mind. What is this thing? Found it at a local Goodwill. It's ceramic with a leather-wrapped handle about a foot long. The main body is roughly 6 inches across and 2 inches thick. What you found is a manual coffee bean roaster made by Nuvo, a Korean brand known for ceramic roasting tools. This type of roaster is intended for home use and is designed to roast small batches of green coffee beans over a gas flame or open heat source. The beans are poured into the central opening, and the curved ceramic chamber helps distribute heat evenly as the user shakes or rotates the roaster over the flame. The leather-wrapped handle protects your hand from the heat while providing a secure grip. Roasting typically takes between 15 and 25 minutes, depending on the desired roast level. I found this in an old house, and I'm not exactly sure what it is. It glows under a black light, so I'm thinking it might be uranium or Vaseline glass. Looks like it could be from the 1930s or even earlier. There wasn't anything else with it, so I'm curious. What you found is the housing for an electric cigarette lighter, most likely produced by Vidrio Products of Cicero, Illinois. These lighters were made in the early to mid-20th century and came in various shapes, including round, square, and even microphone-style designs. This particular example is made from uranium glass, also known as Vaseline glass, which contains small amounts of uranium and glows under ultraviolet light. Originally, the lighter would have contained an electric heating element and a steel ball bearing. When the piece was turned upside down, the ball completed the circuit, activating the heating element to light a cigarette. Although the internal components are missing, the glass housing itself is considered collectible, especially among enthusiasts of uranium glass or vintage electric novelty items. Very light plastic thing with some kind of clip or hinge on the bottom. Any idea what this is? What you found is a beach towel holder, sometimes called a towel clip or sand spike. The brand name Pinplay is typically molded into the top. The towel is secured in the open C-shaped clip at the base, and the pointed end is pushed into the sand to keep the towel from blowing away. These are lightweight and portable, designed for use at the beach or in windy outdoor areas. They help anchor towels or blankets without the need for heavy bags or rocks, and are commonly included in beach gear sets. In the last video, I asked you to guess what this item is. This item is actually a wheel accessory. It's simply a decorative piece that screws onto the wheel for visual effect. Thanks to everyone who shared their guesses, and a special shout out to JWM Cloud for being the first to identify it correctly. Now I want to invite you to identify another mysterious object. This wooden item is about 12 inches long and has a spool of thin twine mounted near the center. What do you think it's used for? Leave your guesses in the comments and I'll reveal the answer in the next video. Thanks so much for watching all the way to the end. I hope you found it interesting. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and consider subscribing. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm and lets more people discover the channel. Thanks again, and see you next time.